invocation followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
I want to introduce Richard Jackson, who has been coming to our council meetings for a long time. I've had several good conversations with Mr. Jackson and very, very impressed with his intelligence. I'm thrilled that he's interested in this city and wants to be involved. Also, Richard Jackson has gone through a lot in his lifetime. He lived in an era that makes us somewhat ashamed when we look back on it about the way people were treated. But Richard Jackson has a real unique gift. And I think this gift is God-given. And I respect and I just admire anyone who has a musical talent, because I believe that music is actually from God. And so, Richard, would you come to the podium? And I want everybody to reflect on his music and all the things that we're grateful for in this time of uncertainty and really sad things going on in the world. Sometimes music is a message that we all need to hear, and we can appreciate it, and it soothes the soul. So, Mr. Jackson, thank you so very much for coming, and we look forward to really meditating on the message that God is sending through you.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here to present the things that the Lord has blessed me with. That's what it's for. He didn't give us any of us anything for us to keep it to ourselves. Everything that He gave us, He gave it to us for us to share with somebody else. We're just a conduit between Him and the people that we serve.
And the artist is including music in this mural. And I think that Mr. Jackson was a great catalyst for this subject. And I think we're all going to enjoy seeing it downtown. And I want to thank you so very much.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Councilmember Harris and Richard Jackson. Let's come to order. Will the clerk please call roll for the establishment of a quorum?
Councilmember Jenkins,
Yes.
Councilmember Roberts,
Here.
Councilmember Smith,
Present.
Councilmember Harris,
President.
Mayor Draper.
A quorum is present. Is there a motion to waive the reading of and approve the minutes of the April 5th meeting?
So moved.
Thank you. Will the clerk please call roll?
Councilmember Jenkins,
Yes.
Councilmember Roberts,
Yes.
Councilmember Smith,
Yes.
Councilmember Harris.
Yes.
Mr. Folks, are there any additions or deletions to the agenda?
No, ma'am.
Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Will the clerk please call roll?
Councilmember Jenkins,
Yes.
Councilmember Roberts,
Yes.
Councilmember Smith,
Yes.
Councilmember Harris.
Yes.
The agenda is approved. Now, we do have a public hearing scheduled for tonight. It is to receive public comments regarding the lounge retail liquor Class 1 application for the Blues Karaoke Bar LLC, DBA Blues Karaoke Bar LLC, located at 1013 B US Highway 431 within the corporate city limits. Would anyone like to come forward? Hearing there is none, the public hearing is closed. Mr. Folks, do we have any unfinished business? All right, we'll move on to the consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Will the clerk please call roll?
Councilmember Jenkins,
Yes.
Councilmember Roberts,
Yes.
Councilmember Smith,
Yes.
Councilmember Harris.
Yes.
The consent agenda is approved. Mr. Folks, are there any additional matters that may come before the council? We have 3 public comments scheduled for tonight. If you will come forward and please state your name and address, and in accordance with our rules, please limit your comments to 3 minutes or less. Our first one will be Mr. Scott Brightwell.
We have 3 names on the one same comment, we ordered them in a different order, if that's okay.
That's perfectly fine. It will just be 3 minutes apiece, and if you will state your name and address.
That's so easy, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, my name is Megan Brightwell. I live at 330 East 6th Street, and that's Anniston, obviously. And I would like to introduce you to our children's poem. Now, whenever you hold a picture, they literally went outside to our holly tree and came up with this acronym, CHIC, C-H-I-C, Children Having In-Power Communities. We were asking you to fix the foul law, to borrow the dad joke from my 12-year-old. So currently it is illegal to raise chickens in Anniston, and we would like that foul law to be fixed so that we can have a small flock of hens in our backyard, mostly so that my 10-year-old can raise them. We recognize as parents that raising hens empowers our children in responsibility and leadership, empowers our families to put food on their tables. It empowers our communities to provide a local food source and to minimize, for some people, the effects of living in a food desert. I also want to provide a quote from Elijah, who said he thinks it would be cool to eat breakfast and know that it is on the table because I did the work. Elijah being 13.
Thank you.
My name is Ciara. I live at 1001 Cynthia Crescent here in Anniston on Longwood 5. And I just wanted to encourage you that as a mother of children, owning chickens or hens, this very small flock in your backyard, is empowering for kids. It helps them in terms of responsibility. When they can have a keen sense of their own investment in their family's well-being by food production, it really helps them to plug into their family. And really what that does is it spills over into their engagement in their community.
Encouraging personal and community gardening, egg production, and farmers markets are a great way to reduce the impact of being in a food desert. It's a crazy world. Food shortage due to world events, poverty, supply chain issues. Local food production is a sustainable way to empower families to be more. Times are ever changing. We'd like to keep in step with affluent urban areas that are allowing families to raise hens. As remote workers move out of major cities, people expect to be able to raise hens in small towns like ours. We can differentiate Anniston from Jacksonville and Oxford by being a more progressive perspective on this. For many reasons, an egg is a symbol of transformation. A simple egg produced by a hen in someone's care transforms that person from a consumer to a producer. We can be more. We can be more as a community. Please work to change the foul law, empower our children and families, and allow families to raise chickens in Anniston.
Thank you to all three of you for speaking. We'll move on to council comments. Councilman Jenkins, we'll start with you.
I want to personally thank Mr. Jackson for your contribution this evening. I appreciate that beautiful rendition of Amazing Grace. Thank you all for your comments. We have had some early discussions on that and are looking at some opportunities for that as well as council. So thank you all for being here this evening. Appreciate you all.
First of all, I'd say good evening, everyone. Thank each and every one of you for coming again. It's always a pleasure to look out and see the faces of the non-city employees. Also, I want to see the great city staff in the state of Alabama. Mr. Jackson, thank you for that level of rendition. I think as time goes forward, I'm going to get with you so we can talk about trying to push some of these young artists to what we want to do. We would love to see young artists transitioning out on the open street. So when we have festivals, we can see some of the talent that we have here in our city. Before I forget, Dr. Donahoe, soccer team, miracles. They're both playing tonight in the playoffs.
No.
Playoffs, no. Don't even worry about it. But we should good luck. Hopefully they get a chance to return to the playoffs and go back and get what they left in Huntsville last year. Again, in this day and time, just please be mindful and prayerful of everything that's going on. We have a war going on in this world. We have a drug war that's still running rampant in our city. Whatever we can do to help, please let's try. It's hard. It's hard to see people die of deaths every day that some people feel are useless, although no death is useless. Some deaths are lessons that need to be taught to other people. But as Mr. Ray said last meeting, just because you have a habit should not give you a death sentence. So whatever we can do to help, please let us know. I got another minute. The Braves and Palace. Thank y'all for coming out. God bless you. Good night.
I too want to thank Richard Jackson for sharing your God talent with the rest of us. And I want to thank the Brightwells and Ciara. I'm so sorry I cannot pronounce your last name. I know it's Scandinavian. But anyway, I met with these wonderful people recently, and they are homeschooling their children. And I was totally amazed when I walked into that room and I sat down, and their dad was explaining this form of government to their children. And a lot of adults don't understand the form of government that we have. And so I'm totally amazed in the lesson in civics that they received from this. And I do hope within the next month to have an ordinance written based on a lot of your research. You've done your research to allow people to be sustainable and to be producers of food rather than consumers of food. I think that it is more and more important every single day that we learn to take care of ourselves. And I want to thank you for being the great parents that you are and bringing your children here to
Richard Jackson. You always know I appreciate your presence. I just want to remind people that on April 26th, we have a special called work session regarding our trash ordinance. And I know that that has been a huge topic for the past 6 months to a year and even further on than that. So I want people to be present. The conversation is going to be had. You can't talk about it if you ain't going to be about it. So that's pretty much what I have to say. And thank you all for coming out. There being no further business, I move for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Will the clerk please call roll?
Councilmember Jenkins,
Yes.
Councilmember Roberts,
Yes.
Councilmember Smith,
Yes.
Councilmember Harris.
Yes.
Meeting is adjourned.
Second.